Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
So good to see you all. So much good energy in this room. It's going to be an exciting morning, a rich morning, an elevating morning. Inviting everyone to disconnect from whatever device you brought in here. Walk on the wild side. Tune into some gratitude. Tune into some presence. I often like to say it's so rare that we get to sit next to a friend, a life partner, a kid, without doing something else while we're sitting next to them. Just be in there. We're going to begin with Matovu on page 74. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob. They're open on all these sides, welcoming people in, allowing a place for shelter and light. 74.
Matovu, Matovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, Matovu, Matovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, va'ani berov chastecha, avo beitecha, eshtachaven hechal kodshecha, ve'yiratecha, Matovu, Matovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha, umekom mishkan kivodecha, mishkan kivodecha, va'ani eshtachaveh ve'echrach evracha lifnei Adonai osi, אני תפילתי לך, אדוני את רצון, אלוהים ברוב חסדך, אלוהים ברוב חסדך, ענני באמת אישך. מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל.
So I'm thinking that, our kids often say, and sometimes we adults feel like these moments when we feel bored, like our kids or the grandkids, like, I'm just bored. And I'm thinking about that because I think that I've read somewhere, that's dangerous, but I've read somewhere that in the shower and in worship services are two of the places we have the most like meaningful ideas that strike us. And that might be because we give ourselves the chance to feel bored, like shower, services. There are moments we don't know what's going on in services, or we just sort of find ourselves zoned out. But also we've created space for ourselves to go somewhere in our minds, our hearts. And it's so hard in this world. Professor Height's going to speak about this later, about how the impact of technology and the struggles that our young people have. But I think it's a great gift, self-serving of me to say it, but it's a great gift to sit ourselves down in a moment, in a place of prayer, allow ourselves to be bored, allow ourselves the time, the space to let our minds do whatever they do, and according to some researchers, who knows, some really special, precious idea or question might strike us in a way that sticks. So, one of the things that we want to stick is our sense of gratitude, and that's what these series of blessings we're about to read are all about. A gratitude for our bodies working well enough to get us here, our hearts being open enough to enable us to hear and ask and connect with folks. So on page 76, we'll begin in the English and we'll move to the Hebrew. Page 76 together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh chol basar, umafli la'asot. We turn to 78, a prayer of our soul, Elohai Neshama.
אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא אתה בראת אתה יצרת אתה נפחת בי ואתה משמרה בקרבי כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותי מודה אני לפניך אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אמותי ריבון כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות ברוך אתה אדוני אשר בידו נפש כל חי ורוח
we turn to page 80 as we offer a series of blessings trying to help us say wow 100 times a day. Join in the English, the Hebrew, or the Amen. We're on page 80. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. And now the English. Who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who frees the captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who lifts up the fallen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who stretches the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who strengthens our steps. 82 in the middle. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who gives strength to the weary. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who removes sleep from the eyes and slumber from the eyes. 84. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who made me in the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who has made me a Jew, or whatever spiritual path I follow. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who girds Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Who crowns Israel with splendor. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. 86. Who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah.
And turning actually back a page to 85, just did the bracha for Torah study, and there's some real sentiments of Torah in here. Let's go back and forth, women and then men. Ladies first. I am a Jew because the faith of Israel demands no abdication of my mind.
I am a Jew because the faith of Israel requires all the devotion of my heart.
I am a Jew because in every place where suffering weeps, the Jew weeps.
I am a Jew because at every time when despair cries out, the Jew hopes.
I am a Jew because the world of Israel is the oldest and the newest.
I am a Jew because Israel's promise is the universal promise.
I am a Jew because for Israel the world is not completed. We are completing it.
I am a Jew because for Israel, humanity is not created, we are creating it.
I am a Jew because Israel places humanity and its unity above the nations itself and above Israel itself. I am a Jew because above humanity, image of the divine unity, Israel places the unity, which is divine. Psalm 150, page 100.
Hallelujah, 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 el bekocho, hallelujah, berkiauzo, hallelujah, bigurotav, hallelujah, kerov kulo, hallelujah, 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 take a shofar, hallelujah, never bechinor, hallelujah, tov umachor, Hallelu beni ve'ugam. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, b'tziltzilei shama. Hallelu, b'tziltzilei truah. Kol hanshama tehallel ya. Hallelu, hallelujah.
One last time.
Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelujah, hallelujah.
We rise for the Baruch Hu on page 108.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la,
Yada
la la la, ya la 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 la.
Page 111. In the beginning, even then,
A new light was sown for the righteous,
a
a promise that your light would become the catalyst,
then for order.
author of language and light.
Help
Help us to use words as you have, to cast light into dark waters,
and to draw out justice and truth. Baruch atah Adonai,
Yoser
HaMe'orot.
HaMe'orot.
And on page 112, 7 lines up from the bottom.
In the Hebrew.
Vahavienu leshalom me'arba kanfot haaretz v'tolichenu kol miut le'artzeinu ki el poel yeshuot atah. Uvanu v'charta v'kerabtanu l'shimcha agadol sela be'emet lehodot lecha u'liyachecha be'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava.
114.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
seated.
116.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם ודיברת בעם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות להם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיהם אדוני אלוהיהם אמת.
119. If a people fall, can they not also rise? If they break away, can they not return? The stork in the sky knows when to migrate. The dove and the swallow know the season of return. What human instinct knows the time to turn back? What cue sparks the conscience of the soul? We pray to sense this day anew, attuned to the call of sacred living. Micha Mocha is on page 122.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. שיר החדשה שיבחו גאולים, לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם עודו, והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 Ya lai 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 Ya lai 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 Tzur Yisrael kuma be'ezrat Yisrael Ufedeichinu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael Go aleinu Adonai tzvahot shemo kedosh Yisrael Baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael.
We rise for the Amidah on page 124.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu ve'Imoteinu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak ve'Elohei Yaakov אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue on our own, seated or standing, as is your comfort or custom. We'll meet up again on page 142.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו,
שלום במרומו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו arrived at the moment we're going to begin our Torah service. So I'd like to call up a bunch of people. First, I want to open the ark, 3 folks, David Sutton, Pete Tuffle, and Lynn Schiff to help open the ark. Pete and David and Lynn. To hold our Torahs, I'd like to ask our guest speaker, Jonathan Haidt, to hold one Torah, and as well our president, Ron Epstein. And I want to ask Doug Maddenberg to come up to help execute all this. So if we can all rise on page 244. Wow. So
very masculine. En kamocha va'elohim Adonai ve'en kema'asecha malachutecha malachut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam avad. Adonai oz lamo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim heitiva virtonecha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki becha levad batachnu, melech el ram benisa adon olamim. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, udevar שנתן תורה, תורה, ברוך שנתן
תורה, תורה, לעמו ישראל, בקדושתו.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlul Adonai Tion Romem Shemo Yachdav. Lecha Adonai Hagedola V'Hagevura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod. Ki hol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki hol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Adonai hamamlacha v'mitnasei lechol lerosh. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. על שלושה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד.
Please be
You
seated.
may be seated. Whew. There is a God. I love that. So we will have multiple beautiful Torah readers this morning, beginning with chapter 8 of the book of Vayikra, Leviticus. If you'd like to follow along in a Chumash, we have Chumashim, Torah commentaries of every flavor outside. You can pick one. Our ushers can help. And our first Torah reader will be Tracy.
Yay,
Tracy Feldman, come on up. So we're at the very beginning of chapter 8. And for the honor of this Aliyah, I'm calling up our membership team, our wonderful, new, amazing engagement, membership, development professional, Jackie McCabe, as well as Barbara Podwall, and anyone who's joined the synagogue in the last 2 years. 2 years.
People here.
I think we have a few new members.
Chapter 8, verse 1, if you're following along.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor kach et Aharon ve'et banav ito ve'et habagadim ve'et shemen hamishacha ve'et par hakatat ve'et shnei ha'elim ve'et sol hamazot ve'et kol ha'edah hakel al peitak ohel moed vayatz Moshe ka'asher ziva Adonai oto vatikahel ha'edah al peitak ohel moed vayomer Moshe el ha'edah zeh hadavar asher ziva Adonai la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
I hope you all know what wonderful energy each of you has brought in really different and incredible ways. So not only did you become a member, but you really stepped up to engage, and looking forward to so many more years of growing and learning and journeying. You enrich us tremendously. Barbara, for all you do, day in and day out, for your positivity, for your strength, for being Wonder Woman. I believe you are that. And Jackie, who knew you were out there? Your intelligence, your stamina, your positivity. You're a good team with Barbara in that way. It's a delight. I'm so glad you're in my office suite because I benefit every day. So, Shechianu, I'm so glad you're here.
Adina, where are
Second
you?
reader is Adina Feldman. And for the honor of this Aliyah, calling up the last Monday's small group led by Erica Groshin and Michelle Schimmel. See, by naming yourself Last Mondays, it's like a piece of an abstract art. It's like black dot on white canvas. You can be whatever you are. No specific affinity. Amazing women. Amazing, amazing women.
We'll be on, hold on, we'll be on verse 6, chapter 8. If you're following along, that's where. Verse 6, chapter 8.
Baruch hu et Adonai hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. ויקרב משה את אהרון ואת בניו וירחץ אותם במים ויתן עליו את הכותונת ויחגור אותו באבנט וילבש אותו את המעיל ויתן עליו את האפוד ויחגור אותו בחשב האפוד ויפוד לו בו וישם עליו את החושן, ויתן אל החושן את האורים ואת התומים, וישם את המצנפת על ראשו, וישם על המצנפת אל מול פניו, את ציץ הזהב נזר הקודש, כאשר ציווה אדוני את
משה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. I think part of the seedling vision for this small group was who are incredible women that are just changing the world all the time and giving and having a place for you to fill your own souls in community with each other. And, by being here, you're given back. But may you continue to grow together. May you continue to do the amazing work you're doing in the world. And may the connections that you're building, connections of intellect and spirit and heart, may they continue to help you grow for many years to come.
And Adina, look around at these amazing women. You live with an amazing woman, and you are very close to some incredible people up here, and may you continue to grow in the way you are and become just like all of them. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, our third Torah reader, Cameron Cooper. And we're calling up Howard and Sharon Roth.
In honor of their upcoming move, they just closed on their house.
I'm very bummed out.
So we are on verse 10 of chapter 8.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ויקח משה את שמן המשחה, וימשך את המשכן ואת כל אשר בו, ויקדש אותם, ויעש ממנו על המזבח 7 פעמים, וימשך את המזבח ואת כל כליו, ואת הכיור האחרון, ואת כל קנו לקודשם, ויצוק משמן המשחה על ראש אהרון, וימשך אותו לקודשו, ויקרב Moshe et bnei Acharon vayal bishem im kutanot vayachagor otam avneit vayavesh vahem migbaot kaasher tziva Adonai et Moshe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So, before you don't leave.
We have to keep you up at this bima a long time.
Well, you're always connected. Wherever you go, you're going to be connected here. You've lifted us to a lot of heights, not just with your stature, but with all of the work in helping us to fiscally stay on track. That's really holy work, that is essential work, and that takes such devotion. With your devotion to Israel, with your incredible superhuman son that you have, that we journeyed with for many years, and for all these little tender, quiet ways that you are kind to us as leaders. Just these generosities you give to us, just open hearts, and those things mean so much. You can't know. So we're looking forward to you visiting a lot, and wishing you strength and amazing transition, a beautiful new chapter. Amen. Our fourth Torah reader is Harrison Weinberg. And I'm actually going to call up the Nowers. I didn't warn them, who are doing so much caring work in the community. We're on verse 14.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'karbano mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayagesh et par hachatat vayismoch Aharon uvanan et yerehem al rosh par hachatat vayishchat vayikach Moshe et Adam vayiten al karot hamizbecha tzaviv betbao vayikate et hamizbecha ve'et hadam yatzak el yisov hamizbecha vayikachehu lechapel aliham vayikach et kol hachalvev asher al hakerev ve'et Adonai ve'yirehete ve'et hakaved ve'et shtei haklayot ve'et halvehem ויקטר משה המזבחה ואת הפר ואת אורו ואת בשרו ואת פרשו שרף בעת המוש מכון למחנה כאשר ציב אדוני את משה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So for stepping up to lead Shiva minions, for keeping track of who might be lonely, who might be having a longer recovery than expected, who might have fallen under the radar, who needs a call. It's incredibly holy work. It's the fabric of community that keeps us whole and that keeps us holy. So thank you for all you're doing. Okay, fifth Torah reader, fifth and final, Joshua Bani. We've reached verse 18. And for this aliyah, we are doing Birkat HaGomel. So if you have gotten through an experience that might have been a little bit dangerous, like getting out of bed in the morning and going to work, anything, it could be in the past year, it could be in the past month, but maybe it was a journey, come on, you've gotten through something, and you come out on the other side, and you want to say thank you. Actually, there's a teaching that this Thanksgiving blessing, it connects back to the ancient rituals of sacrifice, and we actually find the roots of Birkat HaGomel right here in this week's Parsha, so it's extra holy this week. And we won't make you say publicly what it is, but if someone wants to ask you over the oneg, go for it. And so we'll begin this Birkat HaGomel just with the Aliyah for Torah. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'nata lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayakrev et el haolah vayismehu Aharon uvanav et yedehem al rosh ha'ayil vayischat vayizrak Moshe et hadam al hamizbeach saviv ve'et ha'ayil nitach nintachav vayakter Moshe et harosh ve'et hantahim ve'et hapader ve'et hakerev ve'et hakra'aim rachatz b'mayim vayakter Moshe et kol ha'ayil hamizbecha olahu l'reach nichoach Ishehu l'Adonai kasher siva Adonai et Moshe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nata lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So if everyone don't leave, if everyone can turn to page 253. At the bottom you'll see in very light font, Thanksgiving blessing. And get ready to read the congregation responds part. Okay, guys, you're going to repeat after me. Baruch atah
Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu
Adonai Eloheinu
melech haolam
melech haolam sheg malanu kol tov. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who has bestowed every goodness upon us.
And let's read in English at the bottom. Amen. May the one who has bestowed goodness upon you continue to bestow every goodness upon us forever.
Alchem kol tov Selah. Amen.
Amen.
So sometimes the gratitude wears off quick after we've gotten through something. May you hang on to the sweetness of having reached the other side of whatever challenge was placed in your path. May that transition give you courage to take risks in the future, to know that you can rise and rise again to new strengths. And may it also plant a seed of compassion in your heart to reach out to someone along your path who might need to know that they can do it too. Amen.
Amen.
As you all take your seats, I just want to say something about our Torah readers. Each of whom, Tracy's a little bit of an exception. Her bat mitzvah was a little bit longer than these kids' bar and bat mitzvah. But isn't it, for me personally, I'll just say, it's so extraordinary, it's so meaningful to have 4 young people from the ages of 14 to 16 roughly, all of whom had their bar and bat mitzvah at this bima. The one thing that strikes me about the passage of time is that you're all taller than I am, which is not that great of an achievement, but still, I love it that you are. Okay. Beautiful job, each and every one of you.
So while the Torah is still out before us with all the hope and power and light that it contains, we think of those in need of healing. Our Misha Berach can be found on page 253. And as we hold fast to this Eitz Chaim, this tree of life, we bring those names into our hearts and minds. Maybe picture that face, maybe someone right next to you in the pew or someone very far away. Those in need of healing, Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Offering the prayer for our congregation, calling up Barbara Podwall, who's preparing us for this congregational celebration with all her gala work. We're on page 258.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to put a permanent plaque.
Thank you. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Amen. Thank you so much, Barbara.
And I didn't warn him, but Gary, will you come up and read our prayer for the nation? We'll join you. Don't worry. It's in English.
His Hebrew's better than his
Oh, that's true. Good.
Steps hard?
Yeah.
Good.
Our guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Okay. Raising the Torah.
Pray for Shabbat Shemayim.
Okay, sorry. Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, how could I forget? We're on page 259, our prayer for the state of Israel.
Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reishit Tzmichal Geulateinu. Again Alecha behevrat hazdecha ufros alecha sukat shalomecha. Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Ushlach orcha v'amitcha l'rashecha sarecha v'yotzeha v'taknei beitza tova milfanecha v'takneim be'etzah tova bilfanecha. Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. V'natata shalom ba'aretz, v'simchat olam leyoshvecha, v'nomar amen.
Last time.
Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo.
And that's his voice with a newborn baby and no sleep. Come back when he's a toddler. Hagba, raising our Torah to the ever stalwart, my brother, Doug Mattenberg, and Elaine will assist us with Hagba. When the Torah rises, we will as well. We're on the bottom of 252.
Push down.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני biyad Moshe. Yalai, lai, 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 yalai, lai, yalai, lai, yalai, lai, 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 yalai, lai, lai, lai. Yalai, lai, 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 yalai, lai, yalai, lai, yalai, lai, 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 yalai, lai, lai, lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai lai yai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai lai yai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
Right, we know since when the Torah sits, we sit. It's a very powerful moment, Doug. You got to decide when we sat. So it is with great pleasure and privilege that I want to introduce our honored speaker this morning. A little bit of a bio professor. Jonathan Haidt is the Thomas Cooley Professor of Ethical Leadership at New York University's Stern School of Business now. To go back and then move forward, he received his bachelor's degree, BA, from Yale University in 1985, his PhD from the University of Pennsylvania in 1992. Clearly an underachiever you are, Jonathan. He then did postdoctoral research at the University of Chicago and in Orissa, India. I loved that piece of your book, The Righteous Mind in India. He was a professor at the University of Virginia from 1995 until 2011, when he joined the Stern School of Business here in New York City at NYU. Professor Haidt is a social psychologist whose research focuses on morality, the emotional foundations, cultural variations, and the developmental course of our morality. He began his career studying the negative moral emotions, such as disgust, shame, and vengeance, but then moved on to the understudied positive moral emotions. He's the co-developer of the Moral Foundations theory, of the research site yourmorals.org. I'm leaving some out because Jonathan's a very accomplished person. He was named a top 100 global thinker in 2012 by Foreign Policy magazine and one of the 65, quote, world thinkers of 2013. That was by Prospect magazine. Jonathan is working on increasing viewpoint diversity in the academy. It's called the Heterodox Academy, a collaboration among nearly 2,500 professors who are working to increase viewpoint diversity. He's also, as I said before, the co-developer of OpenMindPlatform.org, an educational program that teaches people and groups how to have productive conversations across many lines of difference. Two last points. Two of Jonathan's great written works, two of his books, The Righteous Mind, a best-selling book, which is how I came to want and hope and pray and work to bring Jonathan here. The Righteous Mind, which came out in what year, Jonathan? 2012. And most recently, I'll mention The Coddling of the American Mind. Both of these books Jonathan's going to speak about this morning, first here at our service and then at our lunch, our kiddush. And it is a great pleasure and privilege, Professor Haidt, to have you here, if I can have you come up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
These are probably not enough for you, but
we'll see. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Feldman, and to the. Does it raise?
Does this stuff.
Okay.
Vlad, where are you?
Let's see. Oh, we can put on a few books. We put on a few books, right? Can we? I don't know what it is. Okay, if you could raise one for me. Ah, look at that. Okay. All right, that will work fine. Okay. Well, thank you, Rabbi Feldman. Thank you to the congregation for inviting me in and for giving me the honor of carrying the Torah around the congregation this morning. I was struck by, there was one line in our readings for this morning. I am a Jew because Israel places humanity and unity above the nations and above Israel itself. I was very struck by that line, because if unity is one of our highest values, we can ask, how are we doing? How are we doing as a people? How are we doing as a country? Does it feel to you as though Jews are more united, the state of Jews in the world is more united, coherent, harmonious than it was 10 years ago? Raise your hand if the answer is yes. And raise your hand if it feels like the answer is no. So Jews are more divided. Christians are more divided. Congregations are splitting over political issues. And how about America? Does it feel as though America is more unified, healthy, and whole than it was 10 years ago? Raise your hand if the answer is yes. All right, don't bother with the second part. Something big is happening, and it's not just happening to Jews. It's happening, I don't know about all over the world, but certainly all over the Western world, all over democracies, liberal democracies. It's as though we live in a universe with all of these physical constants that have been around for billions of years. And then a few years ago, somebody reached in and sort of took the gravitational force and multiplied it by 100, or took the charge of an electron and cut it by 90%. And if a change in the basic fabric of our physical universe were made like that, instantly there would be chaos all around the universe. And in a sense, that's what's happened in our society. I think a big part of that is social media. There are other things as well, globalization, a variety of other factors. But I think instantly connecting all of us to all of us may turn out to have been one of the worst ideas ever. What I want to talk to you about today is how to understand what's happening to us, because while the constants of the universe may have changed, it is within our power as individuals and as Jews to try to adapt to it. And that's the amazing thing about human beings, is we're not just inert matter that gets moved by forces. We have will, we have insight, we have the ability to adapt, to change, and we are commanded to change. We are commanded to try to fix the problems that we see. So let me tell you very briefly my own story, then I'll give you a little bit of moral psychology to help you understand what I think is happening. And then I'll link it to some resources in Judaism to say that Jews should be the best equipped people on earth to deal with this and to do something about it. So Rabbi Feldman gave you a bit of my academic background. I'll just sort of fill in a bit by saying that my story is the absolute prototypical Jewish American Ashkenazi Jewish story. All four grandparents born in southern Poland or Belarus. All came here around 1907, all worked in the garment industry, all came over poor, raised their kids about which they said, Amerikanische Kinder. It's amazing the way these kids become Americans. And then they assimilate and they move out to Scarsdale, in my case, although of course they could just as well have moved out to Great Neck. So I and my sisters were raised in the suburbs in Scarsdale. We were always very left of center, progressive Jewish family. I went to Yale, which did nothing to change that. I went on to get a PhD in psychology, did research in India. I began teaching at the University of Virginia, studying originally how morality varies around the world, across cultures. But by the late 90s, early 2000s, I began to notice that America was splitting into what was essentially two countries. So left and right in America by that time had their own U.S. Constitution. It's a totally different document on each side. We have our own U.S. history on each side. We even have our own climate science. So America was really coming apart. I began to use my research on moral psychology and culture to understand what's happening to our country, treating politics as culture. And what I began to see was, first, at the time I was still very much on the left, I began to see that the Democrats really didn't understand American morality, but the Republicans did. They had much better speechwriters. They could connect with much more of the political spectrum. So I began to get interested in political psychology, in part to help the Democrats win more elections. I felt like, come on, guys, you give these speeches, you don't understand what Americans really value. You keep acting as though politics is about giving you more money. No, it's about touching your highest, noblest aspirations for us as a people to be unified and whole and great and good. And so I began the work on the righteous mind, frankly, in order to help the Democrats win. And in the process, I committed to understanding conservatives in their own terms. I began watching Fox News. I subscribed to National Review. And I discovered something quite amazing, which is that you don't really understand anything until you've heard people on the other side state the arguments that you could not find for yourself. I discovered that I didn't really understand anything about politics. I certainly didn't understand conservatives or libertarians. And so it was humbling and it was exciting. I felt as though gradually I was taking off the shackles. I was taking off the blinders. And as a professor, as an academic, as a researcher, it was thrilling to see this vast new world of ideas and analytical tools that I could use to understand the world. So by the time I got halfway into the book, I decided that this was not going to be a book to help anyone win. This was going to be a book to help us all understand each other. And at a certain point, after writing chapter 8 on fairness and liberty, I said to my wife, Jane, I'm not even sure I can call myself a liberal anymore. I see truth and value on all sides. And so that was happening to me around 2010, 2011. The book comes out. It did well. People were beginning to notice that we are terribly polarized. At the time, so I moved to New York City, not because I had any interest in business. I had no interest in business, but it was the only way I could find to pay the rent in New York City when the book came out. My daughter, my second child, had just been born, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to go to New York to do a 5-minute interview on TV networks. So I said to my wife, let me find a way for us to live in New York City for a year. She said, great. And because I'd given a talk at Stern, I knew someone there. I said, can I come up and teach business ethics? And the head of the area said, yes, we'd love to have you. And he got me a great rent-subsidized apartment, because that's what life is all about at NYU, is rent subsidies. And I began to teach in the business school, and I talked about the righteous mind. And this was 2012, and a funny thing happened when I moved back to New York. I discovered there are a lot of Jews here. I had kind of been, I grew up in Scarsdale. Half the people were Jewish, half were not. And then I'd lived for so long outside of the New York area, I kind of forgot what it's like to live in a rich, vibrant Jewish community. And members of various Jewish organizations came to me and said, we read your book. We really want you to talk to our members, our group. Jews are divided here. Jews are divided in Israel. And so the very issues that are tearing America apart are tearing Jews apart. And the morality is actually very similar. The right-left difference is very similar psychologically, which I'll show you in just a moment. So, of course, since then, since 2012, everything has gotten so much worse for the Jews, for America, for the world. Not on all fronts. In many ways, the world is getting better. But in terms of division, political animosity, it's getting a lot worse. So let me tell you very briefly a little bit of moral psychology, and I'll relate it to Judaism specifically. The righteous mind is based around 3 principles. I can teach you moral psychology in 4 minutes. If you get these 3 ideas, you get it. The first idea is intuitions come first, strategic reasoning second. We have intuitions within a second of things. You had a sense of whether you like me or not very quickly after I got up here. Someone says something to you, you find yourself sort of internally, you can feel yourself tilting towards them or away from them within seconds. This then drives our reasoning. So here's an experiment that illustrates it. Subjects come into the lab, and they're given an article to read, which it looks like it's from the journal Science, and it seems to show that caffeine consumption is related to breast cancer. Drinking coffee may cause breast cancer. And the subjects in the experiment are students in a psychology class, and they're learning how to interpret experiments. And they're told, what do you think? Is this a good study? Are there problems with it? Who do you think finds a lot of problems with that study? Just call it out. Who's going to be very... Coffee drinkers. All coffee drinkers are going to find problems? Women who drink coffee can find 7 flaws in the study. Everyone else says, oh, gee, I didn't know that. The point is, when we encounter almost any claim, any argument, we ask ourselves either, must I believe it? So if you don't want to, instantly you know you don't want to believe it. And then your brain is asking, must I believe it? Is there any escape? Can I find any excuse, any way to discredit it? And the answer is always yes. We're clever, we're smart, we're creative. We can always discredit anything we want to discredit. But if you like the claim, if you like the candidate, if you like the person who's saying it, you're asking, can I believe it? Do I have permission to believe it? If I find one piece of supporting evidence, then I have proof. I can believe it. And so a mind asking, must I believe it versus can I believe it, you can present what seems like a compelling scientific study on global warming or vaccines or anything. And if people are leaning towards it versus away from it, that data is not going to convince them to move. All right, so that's the most basic psychology. It's called motivated reasoning. And this is very helpful to you anytime you have to persuade anyone of anything. Don't go right at them with reasons. You have to speak to their intuitions first. You have to at least get them not leaning away from you. Talk about what you have in common. Acknowledge their concerns. Make it clear that you think they're right about something. And then they will be, in a sense, leaning towards you. And now you can begin to bring in evidence and have a more productive conversation. So that's the first principle. Intuitions come first, strategic reasoning second. Most of our reasoning is post hoc. The second principle, there's more to morality than harm and fairness. And so moral philosophy tends to focus either everything is justice or fairness, like Immanuel Kant, or everything is harm and suffering or pleasure, like the utilitarians, Bentham and Mill, for example. But what I learned in studying conservatives and in studying other cultures and in studying Judaism is that morality around the world, look at the book of Leviticus. Is it all about justice and care? No. There's a lot of stuff in there about authority, sanctity, purity, clothing, food, skin, diseases. Human morality is very broad. It touches, it's like our sense of taste. We have 5 different taste buds. And the research I did early in my career, looking across cultures, found that there are, you might say, 6 different moral taste buds. All over the world, everyone has a sense of care or compassion. That's universal. We're mammals. We are evolved to care for our young. We all have a sense of fairness, justice, reciprocity in every culture. That's universal. There's also, you can find evidence of a sense of liberty. Look at the deliverance story, the Exodus. So those 3, care, fairness, and liberty, everyone builds on them to some extent. Left-leaning moralities build almost exclusively on those 3, and especially on care. Conservatives, however, they have all of those, but conservatives put more value on group loyalty, respect for authority, and a sense of sanctity or purity, contagion, the purity laws, the kosher laws, things like that. So if you see these 6 taste buds and you see that liberal or left-leaning political cuisine is based primarily on care and fairness, even more than liberty nowadays, now you can understand the mutual incomprehension, and you can understand why culture war issues tend to focus on conservatives having a sense of either group loyalty, authority, or sanctity, and progressives saying, no, that stuff doesn't matter. We'll come back to that in a moment when we apply that. The third moral principle is that morality binds and blinds. So humans evolved to be religious. Normal human morality is a small-scale society that worships a rock, a tree, a river, an ancestor, something that you then circle around, often literally circle around, the way Muslims circle around the Kaaba in Mecca. It just feels right to people to physically circle around something. When we move in a circle with others, we now are unified. We join them. If we bow in synchrony, if we physically move together, there's a very deep psychology that joins us together into a cohesive community. You see this all over now with sacred values. You can see any group adopting something, a cause, a demographic group, an identity group, racism, anti-racism, as something at the center, and then people circle around it, and they will punish blasphemy, they will punish dissent. Our politics is getting increasingly tribal on both sides. All right, so those are the 3 principles. Intuitions come first, strategic reasoning second. There's more to morality than care and fairness, and morality binds and blinds. So this is human psychology. This you will find all over the world. If you look at any conflict, any group conflict, you'll tend to see one group or the 2 groups organized against each other, circling around different values. Now let's apply this moral psychology to Jews and Judaism. I'm going to make 2 points. The first is that all Jews should understand both sides of the political spectrum and should understand it better than most other groups. There's a remarkable essay from 2013 by Yossi Klein Halevi titled Pesach Jews versus Purim Jews, the agony of our dilemma. And he sets up the dilemma like this. He says, American Jews today are divided over two anxieties relating to Israel's future. Like Israelis, many American Jews are keenly aware of the external dangers facing the Jewish state. In a Middle East that is imploding and turning increasingly fundamentalist, and with Iran approaching the nuclear threshold, there's a whiff of May 1967. For many liberal American Jews, though, the primary focus of their Israel anxiety is on internal issues, the fraying of democracy, the seemingly irreversible occupation, the receding promise of peace. All right, so Jews should understand both sides of that. Israel is in mortal danger, but we can't be occupying another people. So he goes on, he says, Jewish history speaks to our generation in the voice of two biblical commands to remember. The first voice commands us to remember that we were strangers in the land of Egypt, and the message of that command is, don't be brutal. The second voice commands us to remember how the tribe of Amalek attacked us without provocation while we were wandering in the desert, and the message of that command is, don't be naive. The first command is the voice of Passover, of liberation. The second is the voice of Purim, commemorating our victory over the genocidal threat of Haman, a descendant of Amalek. Passover Jews are motivated by empathy with the oppressed. That's the CARE Foundation. Care, fairness, liberty, give people freedom. How can Jews be doing this to another people? That's the voice of Passover. Purim Jews are motivated by alertness to threat. We are in mortal danger by enemies who will stop at nothing. The conservative virtues, the conservative morality, group loyalty, respect for authority, organized around our sacred values, these are designed for intergroup conflict. They keep us together to face external threats. In a sense, progressives or people on the left are experts at relationships within the group and justice within the group. And conservatives are experts at keeping the group strong and managing dangerous relationships with groups outside. So Halevi says it this way. He says, both are essential. One without the other creates an unbalanced Jewish personality, a distortion of Jewish history and values. So Jews, even Jews on the left, should understand this heightened sense of threat that conservatives often have, because we all know the precarious state of Israel. So that's my first point. We're well positioned to be understanding both sides. Here's my second. Jews should be great at constructive disagreement, and we should play a special role in defending freedom of speech and in supporting forums in which people can engage with each other across lines of difference, but in civil and constructive ways. Because Jews, more than any other people on earth, understand the necessity of disagreement and the way that disagreement and debate brings us to truth. My favorite philosopher used to be David Hume, who said reason is and ought only to be the slave of the passions, back when I was studying the power of intuition. But as I've been studying the problems on university campuses, the way we're so divided, the way many people find the other side to be dangerous to them, my favorite philosopher is now John Stuart Mill. In On Liberty, one of the classics of Western philosophy, 1859, Mill wrote this: "He who knows only his own side of the case knows little of that. His reasons may be good, and no one may have been able to refute them. But if he is equally unable to refute the reasons on the opposite side, if he does not so much as know what they are, he has no ground for preferring either opinion." So that's exactly what happened to me when I set out to understand conservatives. I saw the truth of Mill's idea. This is one of the most important ideas for anybody searching for truth. You have to seek out your opponents. You have to seek out people who will contradict you. In no other way can you test your ideas and make them better. Well, that should sound very familiar to you. Mill didn't invent that. Jews invented that. What is the Talmud? The Talmud is a running argument across many centuries between rabbis engaged with each other in good faith, although sometimes quite passionate, in search of the truth. I helped with a project at Central Synagogue. Rabbi Auerbach created a guide. Is it the period of Omer? Is that what it's called? Between Passover and Shavuot, a period in which we're supposed to engage in reflection. And so at Central Synagogue, where the rabbis had read The Righteous Mind, and I talked with them, and we were trying to use it to help promote this sense of reflection. And in the process, I learned about all these amazing passages from Talmud that perfectly illustrate this psychology, that perfectly illustrate John Stuart Mill's principle. So my favorite is the story, I think it's a famous story, about Rabbi Yohanan and Reish Lakish. How do you pronounce that? Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yohanan and Reish Lakish. It goes like this. So Rabbi Yohanan was a great rabbi. He had a star student named Reish Lakish, whom he taught Bible. He taught them the Mishnah. He turned him into a great man, and both were then great scholars and debate partners. They would argue, they would talk, they would debate. One day, though, they got into an argument that became somewhat personal. Somehow or other, Rabbi Yohanan had become angry at Reish Lakish, and in the course of the conflict, Reish Lakish was very upset. He fell ill, and he died. Rabbi Yohanan was sorely, it says, here's from the Talmud, Rabbi Yohanan was sorely pained over losing him. The rabbis said, who will go to calm Rabbi Yohanan, who will go to calm his mind and comfort him over his loss? They said, let Rabbi Elazar ben Pedat go, as he is clever, and he will be able to serve as a substitute for Reish Lakish. Rabbi Elazar ben Pedat went and sat before Rabbi Yohanan. With regard to every matter that Rabbi Yohanan would say, Rabbi Elazar ben Pedat would say to him, there is a ruling which is taught in some such text that supports your opinion. Rabbi Yohanan said to him, are you comparable to Reish Lakish? In my discussions with Reish Lakish, when I would state a matter, he would raise 24 difficulties against me in an attempt to disprove my claim, and I would answer him with 24 answers, and the law by itself would become broadened and clarified. And yet you say to me, there is a ruling that supports your opinion. Do I not know that what I say is good? Being rebutted by Reish Lakish served a purpose. Your bringing proof to my statements does not. Wow, what a people we are. How prepared we are for the modern age. How prepared we are to thrive in universities. A second example of this, Jews, and I'm of course praising us. There are other traditions. There's a Buddhist tradition of debate. We're not the only ones who figured this out, but we are second to none in this, and most other groups did not really figure this out, as far as I can tell. A second example. Jews can really handle contradiction, paradox, and uncertainty. So in the Tosefta Sotah, 712, I think this is the Babylonian Talmud, it says this. A person might think, this is about the famous dispute between the house of Shammai and the house of Hillel. A person might think, since the house of Shammai declares something ritually impure, and the house of Hillel declares it pure, how then can I learn Torah? But all the words have been given by a single shepherd. One God creates them. The Lord of all deeds, blessed be he, has spoken them. And here's the great line. So make yourself a heart. Let's get choked up by this. So powerful. Pardon me. So make yourself a heart of many chambers. Bring into it the words of the house of Shammai and the words of the house of Hillel, the words of those who declare impure and the words of those who declare pure. And if any skill was needed in our day and age, it's this. A third point, or third example, we understand the value of humility and generosity of spirit. In Mishnah Avot 4:1, it says, Ben Zoma says, who is the wise one? He who learns from all men, as it says, I have acquired understanding from all my teachers. Who is the mighty one? He who conquers his impulse. As it says, slowness to anger is better than a mighty person, and the ruler of his spirit is better than the conqueror of a city. So I think we should teach everyone that before we let them on social media, frankly. So I'd like to just conclude with a bit of practical advice. If you are in any group, a religious congregation, at work, at school, if you're in any group that is going through tensions where people are not arguing in a way that is productive, but there's actual growing hatred or distrust, this is the state of affairs in many groups in our country and in Israel. So there's a lot you can do. I urge you to check out, my colleagues and I made a program specifically for this. If you go to openmindplatform.org, it's free. You can run it on any platform, and it walks you through the moral psychology that I just told you, and it helps you apply that to disagreements, and it helps you see why you need to be questioned and challenged, why you should welcome disagreement. So I urge you to check that out. It's free. Please use it. And I hope the book, The Righteous Mind, will be helpful. Things are getting a lot harder for reasons that I talk about in The Coddling of the American Mind. I hope you'll come to afterwards, the reception and the lunch. I'll be talking about that then. And I'll just end with a short poem. It's a beautiful and powerful poem by one of Israel's greatest poets, Yehuda Amichai. And it's called The Place Where We Are Right. From the place where we are right, flowers will never grow in the spring. The place where we are right is hard and trampled like a yard. But doubts and loves dig up the world like a mole, a plow. And a whisper will be heard in the place where the ruined house once stood. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay.
Doug's arm is getting really tired, so we're going to return the Torah.
And next September, I think it's September, Jonathan, or October? September 7th, Jonathan will be the one holding the Torah when his son becomes bar mitzvah at Central Synagogue. Okay.
Page 256, please rise.
עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו כקדם.
May be seated. So in a moment we'll be offering Kaddish. But before we do that, I'm going to invite up Nina Koppelman to just share a few remembrances as both of her parents' yortzites draw close.
My parents, Morty and Dorothy Fleischman, met on a blind date in 1944. My dad had just graduated from medical school and had been drafted into the Army. They got married 6 months after they met. 7 months later, my father was deployed overseas to India. They kept every letter that they wrote to each other, and I have them all. It is a blessing to be able to hear and read their young voices and aspirations. While attending college, both my parents experienced anti-Semitism. They vowed that when they had children, they would join a temple. They were committed to making a Jewish home for my brother and me, instilling within us a pride for our Jewish heritage and a commitment to uphold our Jewish values. My parents became members of Temple Beth-El in 1954, 65 years ago. My mom joined the sisterhood and my dad joined the men's club. The temple was the center of their social life. I remember them going to the annual dinner dance, my mother dressed in her long gown and my father in his tuxedo. They even took dancing lessons at the Arthur Murray studio that was located across the street from the temple on the corner of Piccadilly and Middle Neck Road. My mom became chair of the religious school committee. I remember her buying daffodils to adorn each table at the religious school Passover Seder attended by hundreds of students. I remember her going to speak to Rabbi Rudin when the girls in my 7th grade class wanted to dance in front of the bima as part of an Erev Shabbat service that we were creating. Rabbi Rudin was a formidable presence, and his answer was absolutely not. Even though the outcome was not in our favor, I was proud that she had spoken on our behalf. I remember her sitting at our dining room table, creating with loving care beautiful covers for the sheaths of uniongrams that contained messages from family and friends of congregants celebrating life cycle events. I remember the pride with which my parents, first-generation Americans, exercised their right to vote, teaching me the importance of choosing a candidate that upholds our Jewish values of caring for the well-being of all citizens and those seeking asylum. I was taught by their example to vote my conscience, not my own self-interest. After my father passed away at the age of 76, my dad, who lived for another 2 decades, never took off his wedding band. As he aged and his body became frail, he asked me to take the band to a jeweler who made it smaller so that it would not fall off of his finger. My parents' 75th wedding anniversary is on March 26th. I know that their souls are linked. I remember once again my mom in her long gown and my father in his tuxedo. My loving memories set my heart dancing. Thank you for allowing me to share these remembrances with you.
Thank you, Nina. We rise for Aleinu on page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת זו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Seated. So if you were just moved by hearing those tender and stories that will, I know, stay with me, if we really are developing a practice on non-B'nai Mitzvah Shabbatot for those who want to share a reflection to do so. So feel free to approach any of the clergy if you are moved to take on that mitzvah. So now as we prepare for Kaddish, if you hear the name of someone you've come to remember, please rise when you hear the name and remain standing. This week marks the passing of Harold Schichtman. And in Shloshim, the past 30 days, Jeanette Brooks, Frederick Einseidler, Ann Fleischman, Florence Luba, Jean Mansfield-Mayer, Ruth Kocher-Steinberg. And the Yortzites this week for Jeffrey Isaac Auerbach, Robert Feldman, Dorothy Fleischman, and Morton Fleischman. Dr. Seymour Coteen, Zoya Leveeva, Seymour Megeff, Samuel Rosenzweig, Sidney Roth, Dorothy Teitelbaum, Helen Wertheimer, and any other names omitted or mispronounced. If it's your custom to rise for Kaddish Yatom, please do so now. 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba bi'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayachon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv yimru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shema maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'miran b'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony, healing, peace, and unity on high bring that to all of us, to all Israel, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, to all who dwell on earth. We say one last time, amen.
Amen.
And for a few closing announcements,
Please be seated for final announcements. A couple thank yous and announcements. I just want to offer the first couple announcements. One, sitting next to Jonathan, my partner, friend, Pete Tuffle, for all the work you've done, Pete, to help make this happen. Pete was really the one who made the reach out to Jonathan, and so it's with great gratitude. Here you go on.
Go ahead, keep going. You're doing great.
I want to thank as well David Sutton for all you have done and are doing. David, I don't know if you're in here now. There you are. As well, Len Schiff for your amazing work, your interview with Jonathan and so forth.
Mirdad and Sepi Kohanim for sponsoring our series of Kiddush luncheons over the past several months. And again, this morning, a huge thank you to them for helping to make this happen. We got some great folks. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm so struck by the folks that have come up and down and off the bima from our community this morning. What an inspirational community we have. Past President Nina Koppelman with this beautiful story of her parents and the history here at Beth-El, and folks, Gary Kessler coming up, the amazing, powerful women's group that did an aliyah, and so many others, and our youth chanting Torah. We have such a sacred community here. It's such an honor to serve alongside of all of you. A huge thank you to Rabbis Feldman, Mayor and Tara for leading us in a great morning of prayer and of learning, to Cantor Vlad Lapin, who continues to lift us each and every time he chants and raises our prayer experience. Always to Shai Kedmi for his musical inspiration. A huge thank you to Professor Jonathan Haidt for opening our minds and giving us the opportunity to grow together. As always, a thank you to all of you for being here. Some great things going on at Beth-El, as always. We have a great morning. I hope you're going to come downstairs and join us for the Kiddush luncheon. This evening, the Nowruz celebration, the Persian New Year. We're having a great event tonight, an art show, and then a concert following that with hors d'oeuvres and beverages. Cantor Lapin will be here along. Rabbi Feldman will be here. Cantor Lapin will be singing along with Cantor Frieder from Temple Israel down the block. We're also going to be 400 RSVPs. There's going to be a performance by congregant Tanya Friedberg, who is a quite an accomplished musician. It should be a really, really lovely evening. If you haven't got tickets, there is an opportunity to buy tickets at the door. Tuesday, March 26th, is a come for a question and answer session at 7 p.m. about the women's trip to Israel. I believe Rabbi Tara will be organizing that, and she'll give you some insights into the trip. Thursday, no. Thursday, March 28th, an anti-hate rally supporting the Hillside Mosque at 7 p.m. Our neighbors and friends at the mosque came out to support us after the tragedy in Pittsburgh, and we look to do our part in supporting them after the heinous acts in Christchurch a week or so ago. Also that evening, Thursday, March 28th, genealogy class, something close to my heart. Expert Nolan Altman will be here at 7:30 p.m. here at Temple Beth-El. Erev Shabbat, Friday, March 29th. Musical guest Alana Arian. Should be a great evening. Sunday, March 31st, Anti-Semitism, Anti-Hate Morning Rally right here in Great Neck. There are flyers that you can get here at the Temple. And our 90th anniversary gala, April 7th. Star of stage and screen and film, Eric Bergen will be leading it off with a concert at 5:30 p.m., followed by our gala dinner at 7:15. This is an opportunity to celebrate 9 decades of this amazing congregation. I know so many of you have already responded. We look forward to seeing so many more of you as well. I hope you'll join us. It's a great opportunity to celebrate this wonderful community. To everyone, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let's rise for Kiddush on page 300.
V'shamru
Torah chanters, come up.
Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
Where's Adina?
V'shamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
לחיים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen, amen. You're old enough. Maybe.
It'll
Not
dissuade
Tracy.
drinking in the future.
You're right.
Okay.
Not Tracy.
Raise it up. Okay, all of your hands.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. After our concluding song, please join us downstairs for our Kiddush luncheon and the continuation of our conversation with Professor Haidt.
All right.
Who keeps us away from hate?
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbat shalom.
See you downstairs.
For some reason, you've got like a mental block on the way now.
I know, always.
You know what? It's usually when you do the moments, you should do it up there after you do the thing.
It's when you go straight from it's when it's Chaim is together with Elena.
Right.
Do it every time.
But the mayor didn't remember it either.
No, but I should know because it's a mistake I always